July the 18th, 2020. Guys, you're looking at a wide Atlantic satellite image from today, and you can see in the last few frames the sun is setting, and over Africa and over into the mid-Atlantic it's already night. And there's a couple things I want to talk about here. The area that looks like a dust cloud that's moving across the surface of the ocean is when the sun is directly over that section. And if you look, coming off the African coast in the top right corner is a new dust storm. Now there's some dust in the air now, but what's happening is, if you look up into the top left corner in the southeast in Mississippi and Louisiana, you notice that we're getting a pretty good west wind all the way from the coast of Africa, which we should be this time of the year, moving into the Gulf and across the Atlantic. That is moving the dust that's been over us, guys, out. You'll notice a difference today. The skies were a little bluer. Well, this is good because that stuff is not good for you. Now, also, again, there's not a lot of dust in the Atlantic, and we're behind on the hurricanes. The next one will be Gonzalo. We had the first 3 or 4 named storms as far as the time of the year that broke the records. They were early. Then the dust set in, and we know we've talked about it many times, that inhibits the development of hurricanes because the sand and the dust absorb the moisture, and that shuts it down. So now we got two things: a solid west wind. We've got water in the Atlantic that's overheated and overdue for tropical systems that spin into the upper atmosphere and pull that into very cold sections and cool the surface of the planet and keeps it from overheating. It's a necessary evil. But what's going to happen now with this west wind, you won't have a lot of wind shear. Also, without the dust, you're going to have a greater chance of development. They're actually watching two places now. They're watching the southern Gulf of Mexico. And if you look into the right lower section of this video, the storms that come off of Africa every year are starting to build up, or that section where they develop. And I'll pause this as it comes back around. I want to point out something here. In this section, this is important. This is the next dust storm. But notice how clear it is and how we have such a solid westerly movement. Again, this is the reflection of the sun as it moves, or as the earth actually turns from left to right. And it's clearing here. So that's a good thing, because this dust is sand and dust. And that you've got silica, you've got glass. I mean, it's just not good to breathe. And that's why they're saying in the dust storm information, healthy, unhealthy, very unhealthy, things like that. So, and here you've got where the storms, the wide Atlantic storms that get really dangerous come from, and you can already see that we're already getting activity. So between this section of dust and this coming off of Africa, we have a gap. Notice that? And that's going to be key to the development. This has got to cool off one way or the other. Again, Gonzalo will be the next named storm. We're just going to have to pay attention to it now. Now, let me say this about the dust cloud over Africa, guys. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to call out anybody on this at all, but there's a lot of reports going around that this dust cloud is a new phenomenon. It's not. What is new in our age, in our lifespan, is it's the strongest that's been detected. But we haven't had that technology all that long, but this is like a 60 or 80 year record. But there's rumors going around that there's asteroids that have hit Africa, guys. And some of these are saying they've got sources from here and there and all. But the dust cloud happens every year. It just so happens that since we're in grand solar minimum, guys, if you work outside or you have to go outside for any length of time, in the sunshine, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Our shields are very weak because of this. And so the radiation penetrating into the surface of the earth, including the oceans, the land, your garden, your skin, is intense. It's record-breaking. So the information that's coming out about an asteroid is causing this dust storm is bogus. So you've got to watch the other information that are coming from those sources, because we're late in the game. We don't have time to distract people that asteroids are hitting Africa and causing a dust storm that's been happening for millions of years. We're just so happen in our lifetime to be in this grand solar minimum. What I'm saying about it is that if you look at it as it parches your skin or your plants or your yard, it is also parching the surface of the desert. And as that happens, it's a lot easier for a dust storm to be picked up, just like in the Dust Bowl here in the U.S. years ago. But an asteroid has not been reported hitting there, and it has nothing to do with this amount of dust. It would take a volcano, very large one, to produce this amount of dust, and it wouldn't be sand. Anyway, just double check your sources right now, because there's going to be a lot of distraction to keep us from keeping an eye on what's really important. So just, again, they're watching the Gulf of Mexico. They're watching the system coming off at the Atlantic. And I want to pull a close-up in here of the satellite imaging over the Gulf itself. Now, if we take a close look at this, again, the wind shear is not that strong. You see some at the upper levels, but that can change very quickly this time of the year. That's how these storms form. And if they develop and they're strong enough, they will actually start controlling a lot of the weather around them. Now, you can see the movement of the upper level clouds coming out of Alabama right there, guys. You see that? That's what's blowing this storm, or excuse me, the dust storm to the west. It's clearing the skies, and that's a good thing. We're not breathing that. At the same time, it's going to allow an open pattern. Look how clear it is over most of the Gulf of Mexico. If you look very closely, there's still a trace right in this area here. All of that's getting moved across Mexico right now. And they're saying, watch the Caribbean, watch the Gulf, and you can see the systems here that are trying to develop. Again, we're in a situation where the surface of the planet is extremely overheated because of the penetration of the radiation due to the weak shields. The Earth has to cool itself. That's how we survive. So get ready for it. They're talking about, we had an early start to the season, and now it's been delayed. So when you keep pushing against a certain thing, especially nature, you will not win. And of course, we all understand from the speech by LBJ that there is weather manipulation, guys. When you're dealing with these large hurricanes coming off the African coast, there's only so much they can do. Why? Because they're limited in the amount of energy supply that they have to do this. I'm not saying they don't do it, and I probably, and if I can find it, at the end of this video, I'll put up LBJ's short speech on who controls the weather, controls the world. It's very dramatic, and it's eye-opening in quite a few ways. But again, you can see that we're getting very clear skies. That's good. You're not breathing it, but the heat is going to increase because even sand and dust will reflect, of course, because that's how they make glass. A lot of radiation, not enough, back into the atmosphere, or up in the upper atmosphere. So it's going to get hotter. We're looking at record-setting heat over much of the U.S. this weekend. Pay attention to that. You can be overcome very quickly. If you've never had a heat stroke, guys, you don't want it because you become weaker each time after that. In other words, you can take less and less heat and you become very sick very quickly. And these are times like we've never seen. But again, guys, if I can find the LBJ video, I'll put it up here. If not, I'm going to launch this up while it's still daylight, and you can check out what's going on. We've got until, I think, around about 6 or 7 more days to where Neowise will be visible in the west. Look straight under the Big Dipper, and then it's going to get further away, and you have to start using stronger lenses and telescopes and things like that. So if you can get it with this dust moving out, and it's dry right now, very dry, the soil is dry here, then you may get some very good images. But either way, guys, we're watching it, you watch it, it's a heads up. Be safe.
And that message calls for new frontiers, new vision. It calls for us taking the steps now that will make us no longer second in space and in science. It lays the predicate and the foundation for the development of a weather satellite that will permit man to determine the to control the weather, and he who controls the weather will control the world.